Good morning, THEDAS. Fucking everybody's tired. Good morning.
Good morning.
Put on the pep.
I'm clutching lots of coffee in my hand at the moment.
I have a giant fucking bottle of like water and vinegar and fucking soap and sugar because I was trying to kill some flies.
Okay, that makes more sense.
What are you doing?
Yeah, I was purposely making it sound really bad until I got to the end to see any reactions.
Like, does vinegar wake you up in the morning? I mean,
I just chug vinegar.
I mean, I guess that's one way to go about it.
All right. So today I wanna do something a little bit different. So yeah, we're gonna do the same thing as always with like our little list that we do. But I'm thinking instead of just doing like 3 in a row, like we know I do one, next person, to try and like mix up the conversation a little bit.
Yeah, I think that sounds a good idea.
Okay. So today we're doing what is the like hardest choice for you in the Dragon Age games? I gave the option of 1 in each game. But as of now, I can only think of 2 in Dragon Age Origins. So, hopefully, as it goes on, I'll think of some. After, like, 2 days of planning, I just couldn't think of anything. Alright. My number 1 for Origins is actually probably going to be super unexpected for everybody. But, my hardest decision in Origins comes in the Dragon Age Awakening expansion. I don't know if I like killing the Architect or not.
Same. I never do.
I killed him maybe twice out of like the several times that I've played it. But
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Forgot about that. Well, hey, guess what, fuckers? We didn't do the intro.
I didn't want to interrupt
No,
you.
you're fine. Listen, hey, you know what? We're on fucking autopilot, baby. Today is new. We're just cruising. I already said the good morning THEDAS, but guess what, THEDAS? Fucking, I'm Ethan.
Hi, I'm Asia.
Hi, I'm Luna.
I'm Nimbletoesplay, but go with Nimble.
Alright. Anyway, the Architect should be preserved. God damn it. Give him a chance. He's a good boy. He's just doing his best.
So my headcanon is actually like that's who the Warden's looking for in Inquisition.
I would like that.
I literally cannot do it in any of my playthroughs because I'm like, if I do that, then how is she gonna cure the blight? He needs to be there.
Yeah, I just really want some more talking Darkspawn, you know?
Oh, I really want to see that in the new game. Like,
That'd be
really,
great.
they like dropped it, and then like I'm like, bring it back, please.
How fucking
Yeah.
awesome and insane would it be if you could get, I can't remember his name, is it like The Voice or whatever? The guy who if you keep him alive, he becomes like a wandering Darkspawn that saves people. You don't know about that guy? There's the talking Darkspawn that like helps you out at the end of Awakening.
Oh, I know who you're talking
The
about.
Messenger?
Oh, okay.
Is it the Messenger? Something like that.
Yeah. Did
Yeah,
you
if
follow
you-
the mother or something? Like,
I don't know. The mother's
can't-
dead as fuck for me, so I don't know. I don't know if this would keep her alive, but all I know is if you let him live and like you work with him and all that, he becomes like a traveling guy who like saves people and stuff, and he's a Darkspawn and he's really cool.
Oh, this guy. Okay, I just looked him up.
Yeah, is it the Messenger? Is that his name?
Yeah, it's the Messenger.
Yeah, I think that's the right one because I know there's a couple, but I'm pretty sure it's him. Yeah, he becomes like a traveling dude, and he's like, I'm gonna help people. Unfortunately, he's a darkspawn, so sometimes people end up a little sick. But you know, he's doing his best.
It's people a little sick.
But I totally agree. Like when I was reading The Calling, and I haven't done the Awakenings DLC, so that was my first interaction with the architect.
Oh,
I love the idea of like a sentient darkspawn who can speak to you, who can relay more lore about the darkspawn. Like I really love that. So if we could get that in Dragon Age 4, that would be amazing.
Yeah, or even if they were like to introduce like a different one of the Magisters besides Architect and Corypheus. That'd be pretty dope. And then maybe this one was like, I've worked with the Architect or something. Here are my talking buddies. And I'd be like, yes! Like, I just love the talking Darkspawn. The messenger is a bean. Anyway, what were you saying?
It does make me wonder if, like, because in 4, I mean, I think we're going to start, like, finally cracking what actually happened with the start of the Blight. They might bring everyone into it. Dope.
Oh my god, my mind would literally be blown into smithereens.
I mean, we're going to Tevinter. Like, it follows that we would start trying to figure out what happened with the Blight originally. Especially since... Oh, go ahead.
No, so I was saying, I wish that had been explored a little bit more when we had Corypheus talking about like how they turned up at the Black City and it was already corrupted and the throne was already empty. Like I was desperate. I was like, give me more. Like tell me more about this like this like fabled event in history, and you tell us like 3 lines. If we could find out more about it in Dragon Age 4, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, it's too bad Corypheus is out of his fucking mind.
It's a little bit.
Just a little, yeah. He'd be fine.
Look, he was fine until Hawk like had to come and like try to stab him. So he was just a little lost.
And then his voice changes a little bit, but you know.
Well, look, John Hurt couldn't do it anymore.
I know.
So.
Boy, he is, both voices are beautiful, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, I love the accent in both cases.
It makes me sad every time I play the Dragon Age 2 DLC because it's like, oh, we could have had like John Hurt Corypheus. It would have been so cool, but I get it. He was not doing well at that point.
I don't know if you guys have you guys seen the post I put up last night about Robin Sachs, because that always makes me pretty sad.
I love him.
Tonight is big sad hours. That's what we're doing today.
Yeah.
Fucking Seneschal Varel, Saul Carith from Knights of the Old Republic, and Zaid. This man was a fucking legend.
Oh,
and that man had a gorgeous voice, and I would do anything to hear that shit again. Fucking awesome.
And
anyway,
the best villains in Buffy.
Oh yeah. Alright, I'm done making everybody sad. Alright, Asia, would you like to go next?
Okay. So this one was rough for Origins. Like, I had to really think about this morning and ended up, like, opening the keep and going through all the choices and be like,
That's
okay,
a good idea.
which is the hardest one to do? So, this one is, like, a really small event at the time, but you don't realize how much it actually affects the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And that is whether or not you should harden Alistair. Whether you're going to have that conversation with Guldana or you're just going to ignore that house. Because usually if I'm not hardening him, I don't even go into the house. I'm like, oh, your sister lives there. That's nice. And just keep walking by.
I've never found that to be difficult. I'm always like, hell yeah, I'll go see your sister, no problem.
Well, I never hardened him. Like, I don't.
Never?
Nope, I can't bring myself to do it.
Yeah, I'm always, I like my boy nice and soft.
Well, there are scenarios where, like, for him, it would be better if he were. Like, if you're planning to have him marry Honora, he should be hardened, because in that relationship, like, she's gonna walk all over him.
Maybe that'll make him hardened after all.
I don't know.
That was terrible.
Yeah, it was. Hell yeah. Dad jokes.
Oh.
That's gonna be my shtick for the show. I make the dad jokes.
But like, if you do, like, you have to know right then and there, and especially if you're just playing through for the first time and you have no idea how much this affects, like, basically the land's meat, but also will affect the later games, because like all of his dialogue changes throughout the other 2 games that he appears in, depending on this small little thing. So, I mean,
I'm really gonna have to look this up now.
Yeah, I just pulled up the keep to help me, like, you know, thinking more about the second game.
Like, I don't know, because as we've previously discussed, I like making Logain the warden now. So you also can't harden him if you're gonna do that with Logain, because if he's hardened, he's like, oh no, we're just gonna kill Logain anyway. Even if you're like, I'm gonna make him a warden, he freaks out.
Just slices the poor man's fucking head off.
Yeah.
Listen, he's already broken, Alistair. The
other, like, quick runner-up would be what to do with the werewolves and the humans. Or the werewolves and the elves. Like, that one's always a little hard for me.
I don't see the point in doing anything but choose both of them.
I can't remember. I think I did it so that the guy who originally... My memory is terrible. The guy that originally, like, invoked the curse ended up dying or something. And
I think
the werewolves were cured?
I'm saying... Yeah, fucking Zathrian, he dies, and then everybody ends up being okay. I'm saying, I don't see any... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I remember seeing, like, a really hot nature chick.
Oh my god, as a child, I remember playing that game as a kid and I was like, those are titties.
I just wanted her to succeed. Whenever I decided, I wanted her to come out on top.
Okay, but just throwing this out here, if you side with the werewolves, you get to fight the Darkspawn with werewolves.
So, like, the first time I played the game, I definitely chose the werewolves. And, like, I was like, elves are fucking dumb. Look at these sick-ass werewolves.
I remember thinking in the Battle of Denerim, I had the elves, so I must have not done that. And thinking, like, these guys are so useless. Like, they just get completely destroyed.
Yep.
They're, like, useless.
Yeah, some fucking gangster-ass werewolves.
But at the same time, if you get the werewolves, like, you have to go back to the elven village and kill all the elven people. Like, you have to help the werewolves. It's really, it's terrible.
Anything for some hot fucking nature spirit ladies. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I wish she could come back in some form. I would love to see her character, like that kind of character again. That whole like
for real
nature sprite. That'd be so cool.
It's very exclusive to that game. Now that I think about it, there's nothing like that.
I haven't even heard it mentioned again, like that concept.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I put out a thing the other day, and I was like, "Can we please be fucking werewolves in DA4? Imagine me. I want to be a werewolf so bad."
Dude, you say this in my DA4 prediction video. I said, I was thinking about like who our party members could be. And there's a guy called Antoine in Tevinter Nights who gets, I think, bitten or clawed by a werewolf in one of the stories. And I don't remember if he's like cured of that or not. And I was saying like, how awesome would it be if Antoine could be one of our tank companions, and he has like a werewolf form that you can like activate.
That'd be pretty dope.
That would be amazing. He just like claws shit down. He's like this massive tank of a werewolf, like. That I mean, I was probably a bit frivolous with that particular prediction.
Nah,
but
that'd be pretty sick though.
I thought it'd be cool, man. Like exploring that. They didn't really get mentioned again until Tevinter Nights, and I always think like the latest book in a series. Why drop that random like reference into what is a fairly obscure like monster creature if it's not intending to come up again?
I had the same thought while reading it. I was like, we're bringing werewolves back? I mean, okay.
Yeah. I'm so down for that.
They're literally not in they're nowhere after Origins, right? Like,
well, they show up in 2 for a second.
Yeah, like a split second.
But that's it.
Yeah, Nimble, what were you gonna say?
It would definitely have to be like better implemented than the way like with Origins when you do the whole shifter ability, because no matter what, every single time I transform into a spider or a bear or a dog, I die. Like I'm just dead immediately.
You also got to do the 20-second dance first.
Yeah,
Whoa.
and then if you get hit just the wrong way, then it like cancels out.
Good old Origins. I fucking love that game.
Warts and all.
Yes, of course. I love it. All right, Luna, you wanna go on your turn?
Okay, yeah. Okay, well, following the Origins theme, I'm surprised it didn't come up yet, actually. So I only played Origins once, as we all know, and in the last podcast we were talking about romances, and I mentioned that I was romancing Alistair. And this is what made the dark ritual decision the hardest for me in Origins, for a couple of reasons. Firstly, I just don't like blood magic. I don't like that side of magic in the Dragon Age universe. So when Morgan's suggesting to have like old god babies, I was like, whoa, this is like, we don't do that here. Maybe in the Kakari Wild, that's the norm, but and then there was the added layer of the fact that I was romancing Alistair at the time, and she was kind of saying, like, getting my blessing for him sleeping with her, which was kind of a weird dynamic as well. And I imagine the choice is even cooler if you're a male warden who can like do the act yourself.
It's pretty great.
Yeah, I think I think if I was a male warden, I would definitely do it just because it's cool. But as a female warden, for me, it was a really difficult decision because like there were other things to think about rather than just like, this will save me from the archdemon.
Yeah.
It was also, why do you want an old god baby? Why have you mentioned it now?
Also, this will be my son.
Yeah, right.
Sorry, good.
No, it's fine. It was just the fact that like I didn't know actually until quite recently that I can't remember his name, but the boy comes back in Inquisition.
Kieran, yeah.
Yeah, Kieran, that's it. Yeah, so, and for me, like, I guess he could come back again, which would make the decision like even more significant.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just that. So that was my hardest Origins decision, I think.
I had thought about that last night, but for my playthroughs, it's never been a hard choice.
Yeah, same here.
If only, like, the first time I played through, I was like an Alistair supporter and romancer all the way. But when I found out, like, when Morgan tells you, like, hey, one of you is going to die if you kill the if you're going to kill the archdemon. Thank you. It is too early. So, like, hey, I got a way around it. For my approach to it was like, well, I can't help you, unfortunately, but Alistair can, and that conversation that you have with Alistair.
Hey, do this for us.
Yeah, that's kind of how I've always approached it. But also, Morgan's argument of we probably shouldn't lose this old god's like soul if you're going to kill the archdemon also really appealed to me in a lore way, because it's got me thinking like, okay, so we've had 4 other archdemons at this point. We've lost 4 old god souls. Like, what would happen if we lose the rest of them? So,
yeah, I've never done the well, that's not true. I've done it like maybe once or twice. The old god baby outside of it being my character in love with Morgan. I know I've done it one time where I was romancing Liliana, so for me it's always been like on top of saving myself, saving Alistair, and the fact that my character's in love with Morgan. You know, we're basically just having a child together.
Yeah, make it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
I only found out recently that Kieran can also be born without the old god soul.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait, really?
Yes.
Yep.
Really?
If you sleep with Morgan, just do the basic romance, and then at the end of the game you don't do the ritual, and you just let either Logan or Alistair die for it, then you could just have a normal human child with Morgan.
Oh, weird.
And
Yeah.
the interaction with Kieran in Inquisition is vastly different.
So it's different. He's just like a
'cause
normal.
he's kind of creepy.
Yeah, he's a normal, just weird kid instead of a supernatural weird kid.
Yeah, he comes up with some weird one-liners, actually.
Fucking looking at you and like, your blood's weird.
Oh man, yeah, but that's the one where I'm like, please, we need this in Dragon Age 4. Please, can we finally
Yeah.
Sorry, blood?
Imagine a child coming up to you and saying, "Hey, your fucking blood's weird."
Your blood's not your own. Did you know that?
You're just like, what the fuck is this child? Kill it!
Hey, can I take a sample, please?
Oh no!
I like when he's like, if you're an elf inquisitor, he's like, she didn't tell me you were an elf.
You know, that's it, kid. Start throwing shit on the ground. Now fucking put up your hands. We're going at it.
Yeah,
Same
he's
thing
kind
if
of
you're
like,
a dwarf too.
He's kind of like a 2-minute Cole with some of the stuff he says, like the lines that
Yeah.
he says and the significance they have. Like you mentioned, like the dragon blood and stuff. And I just hope that it's not like throwaway lines, and that they actually address some of that stuff in 4. Because it would suck if they're doing all this like almost like foreshadowing, and then don't mention it again. Yeah.
Kieran mentions it, but so does Corypheus if like you're either a Qunari
Yes.
Inquisitor or you take Bull with you. So
Yes.
I think it's gonna come up. I really do.
The only thing that like makes me slightly sad is that Kieran is not a definitive thing that happens, which sucks. Because it's like, hey, imagine all the fucking cool shit that the game would be able to implement if he was like a definite thing that had to happen in every world state. Because like the fact that there's
The
choices,
companions, but
yeah, exactly. Like for example, he could be like a companion or something, or he could just like I guarantee you, he'd be able to do some fucking crazy ass storyline shit if he wasn't a choice and just was in the game.
Oh, if he could be like if he could be a companion, and kind of serves that Cole role of sort of like convenient narration, of like just dropping tidbits so you don't have to actually like flesh them out.
Yeah.
He would be a really, really cool companion. But as you say, he might not exist in every world state. So I wonder if they would do some like funky Morrigan stuff to address that.
They'll probably
like,
find some way.
Maybe she got busy, you know,
Or-
during her quest for Illuvin or something.
or a stand-in like Stroud.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that's when they introduced Connor, but then I guess he'd be a bit old.
And
Yeah.
Connor is also
Yeah,
there's
he's
a
not-
chance he's not alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of fucking variant. But Nimble, would you like to hit us with your origins?
Okay. So for Dragon Age Origins, I think my most difficult choice was at the Landsmeet, because when I first played, I was trying to like make sure I didn't kill everybody, and so I kind of understood where Logan was coming from and everything, and so I didn't want him to like have to be executed, but like Alistair made it so black and white that I was just like, what are you doing? Stop it. And then like going on to Dragon Age 2, if you do choose Logan and you don't like harden him, he turns into this drunkard, and like you're just like, what? Why? Like it just kind of frustrating, because like the entire game was like all gray. You had like these 3 different choices and then suddenly black and white, choose Alistair or Logan. I was just like, what?
I think it's because Alistair's like, especially at that point in the game, does see the world in very black and white.
Oh,
Yeah.
he does. And I love his character, but at the same time, you gotta evolve and realize, hey, more important issues.
You know, for years, I didn't even know that getting Logan was a choice.
Oh man!
Because I was just like, off with his head! Kill him! And then one day, I was scrolling through my PS3's like achievement list, and I was like, wait a second, I've never fucking got all the achievements before. And
Companion.
And yeah, what do you mean another companion? And then I looked it up, and I was like, oh, yeah, I'm never going to get that. And to this day, I still don't have it. Even though he's always my warden, I can't physically do it in the game, or else I just, like, get upset. I'm like, I can't hurt you, Alistair. I just can't.
You're
Exactly. I have that same problem. I'm just like, I can't break Alistair. I'm like, I'm sorry.
Like I said, AJ, he's Logan is my warden in every playthrough now. But I just can't physically do it in the video game.
I mean, he is the best warden, in my opinion, in Inquisition, but it is fun to recruit him, if only because some of the banter is, like, ridiculous. Like, there's one he has with Severin where he's like, Severin's like, hey, so you hired me to kill the warden, and Logan's like, yep, I sure did. And Sev's like, yeah, sorry, I didn't.
Yeah, he's like, sorry, I failed. I remember looking that up.
Like, I don't know. Like, Logan is so clearly uncomfortable in that role.
Yeah,
You get a kind of glee out of it.
Especially if you've read The Stolen Throne, like his character does not suit that lifestyle. He's not that guy.
And then they send him to Orlais, which gets even funnier because he cannot stand Orlais. So...
And you can roast him for it too, and he's like, "Ah, yeah, I know, I'm in fucking Orlais."
So, I mean, there's a plus side to it, even if you're like, oh, I can't do that to Alistair. And as we talked about in the last episode, Tegan does come and save Alistair if he's a drunkard. So, Alistair will have a happy ending.
Hopefully we know what the happy ending is.
See, I'm not sure what that happy ending is yet.
If it's even a happy ending, he probably takes him out back and puts him down.
Redcliffe, I'm sure he makes him, like, the castle. It's fine.
Logan was left in the fate. Finally, redemption!
Oh, no. Oh, boy. All the sadness. I just can't. All right, my turn. We're gonna go back to Dragon Age 2 now. And by back to Dragon Age 2, I mean we're going to start Dragon Age 2 because we haven't done it yet. But I think that my hardest decision in Dragon Age 2 is just straight up probably the biggest choice in the game, which is just the Orsino or Meredith at the end.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
So nowadays I try to just give it to Orsino every time. In my first playthrough I gave it to Orsino, but I was a child and I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Because again, I played these games when I was a fucking baby. I played one when I was like 12 years old, the other like 13 or whatever. So, obviously I played them since, but yeah, I gave it to Orsino the first time, and then I replayed the game when I got older, and I realized, damn, fucking the mages fucking suck in this game. The mages are really a bunch of fucking assholes. There's not a single good mage in this game, except for maybe Meryl, but even then, she's fucking doing blood magic too.
Yup.
So almost every single time in that game, I fucking handed everybody over to Knight Commander Meredith and was like, Templars, do your thing. These people are fucking out of their minds. Now, I think my canon is, helping the mages and Orsino and all that. But to be fair, they're really fucking rough.
Yeah.
I usually sided on Meredith's side, but I think it was the playthrough I had where Bethany was in the gallows. So I was like, well, I can't do that because that's going to be awful. Yeah. So I sided with the mages, not knowing that you'd still have to fight Orsino. And then getting to that fight and being like, are you serious right now? Oh my god.
For real.
This time!
You fucking bastard! It's like, I trusted you and all these fucking people, and you bullshitted me.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, when I was, because I thought he seemed like quite a level-headed guy, like, generally. And so my first playthrough, I sided with the mages, and then, like, it's not even, like, hopeless at this point. It's just, like, a spot of trouble. And he's already, like, I'm just going to cut my, like, arm open and turn into this massive, like, abomination. And I was like, wow, man, like, we haven't even, like, it hasn't even started.
It's not even that bad yet.
Yeah. And then you attack me?
Yeah, for real.
So I actually looked this up yesterday because I was looking up something on Orsino, and apparently the only reason why you fight him is because the devs were like, there needs to be another boss fight here. So they just made it for both. I was like, oh,
yeah,
they didn't have a whole lot of time. Oh,
yeah, it's also it doesn't make much sense.
It doesn't.
What they should have done is they should have fucking made, like, the final confrontation, you know, between the two factions. You know, you're in the big fight, either whether you choose to fight one or the other. You're either in the gallows, so that one's part with Orsino, or in the well, still the gallows, but like that little courtyard with Meredith. And then Orsino can still lose his shit and use the blood magic, but he uses it against Commander Meredith and not you. That'd be a cool, like, Titan boss fight, giant fucking what's the word looking for? Statue lady against fucking Abomination Boy.
I think I read somewhere recently that it is possible to get to a point where you are in the courtyard with Meredith and Orsino, and then he challenges Meredith, and then he uses the blood magic.
I've never heard of that.
I've never got it.
Yeah, I've never experienced that.
Yeah, I was reading it really recently, so that is helpfully vague. If I find it, I will. I'll put it I will put it in the description or something if I can find where I saw that. But I'm sure I read somewhere that it was possible with really specific, like world state decisions and things. But I can't remember. But
because I honestly, like, Orsino's fight is worse than Meredith's fight for me. Like, I absolutely hate Orsino's fight.
It's kind of like this ultimate
boring
betrayal if you do side with the mages the entire time. Suddenly he's just like, oh, okay, everything's over. I'm gonna kill everybody and turn into this blubbering monster thing.
Yeah.
Oh, you came to help me?
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a quick second to, like, go on a insane tangent. Totally off topic.
Okay.
But it came to my head right now, and I just want to catalog it for the podcast.
Okay.
I am obviously a massive fan of BioWare. I played these games until I remember playing the Mass Effect series until I literally passed out as a child.
Oh my god!
I would play in middle school. I would play Mass Effect 2 until I literally would pass out. So, imagine this here. I had a dream one day, while before Mass Effect 2 came out, that I was playing Mass Effect 1, and I was playing it so fucking much that I had a dream about a whole different scenario of getting a companion that didn't actually exist, and for years I thought it was real, and I tried to replicate it, and it just wouldn't work. Like, there's a...
Is it Conrad?
No!
Oh,
It's Liara. So
okay.
So when you get Liara behind all that all those shields, she's like, "Oh, you gotta help me," blah 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 blah. I swear, I was having some fucking weird mental trip, and the whole time, I still remember it so clear to this day. She's fucking talking to my character, and she's like, "Oh, there's somebody here to save me. This has to be a dream. This can't be real." And I was like, "Nope, not a dream. I'm here to save you, Liara." And she's like, no way, this is a fucking dream. I know it's a dream." And I'm like, "No, it's not a dream, Liara. I'm here to save you." And, like, it was my mind telling me that I was dreaming, but I'm just like, not getting it because I'm a child. Again, this is totally off topic, but like I have had that in my head for more than 10 fucking years, and you guys made me think about it just now. totally off topic. But like, that's fucking crazy. Fucking child me was having an existential crisis in his mind over Mass Effect.
Just standing in front of like Shepard being like, no, really?
I was
here.
I was getting so upset, and I was like, no, Liara, you don't understand. I'm here to save you.
No, you can't be.
I was genuinely upset. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the tangent. I'm so sorry.
It's fine. I thought it was great.
You're ready? Dragon Age 2.
Okay, so this was also a little bit tricky. I was trying not to go with the obvious one. Because I know it's going to come up. So, and if not, we can discuss it after everyone's gone, I guess. So, I don't necessarily think it's like the hardest choice, but it's like the hardest to go through, and that's Katojin's side story. So, like, no matter what you do, he's gonna be dead.
Yeah.
But like, you continuously, like, I mean, it depends on your approach. I know for mine, every time, even though I know he's gonna be dead at the end, I try to do everything I can to try to save him.
Same.
And it's just really hard to go through emotionally because, I mean, I'm very attached to the Kunari, so you have to go, when you talk to him finally at the end, and you can be like, well, you can go back to the queue, and he's like, no, I'm probably corrupted now because I've been away, and it's just really sad. It gives me sad face.
I'll be honest, I never had that kind of emotional response, but it's pretty awesome that you did.
Well, because, I mean, he burns himself alive. Like, it's hard to not have an emotional response to that.
Little disturbing. He's just like, I can't go back. Goodbye, whoosh.
I guess
Yeah.
I'm just hardened from that Liara dream. Because, like, he just does it, and I'm like, well, he's dead.
I feel like on my first playthrough, I think what I did, I gave him to the Kunari for like a the ceremonial death. Because I was like, this is some like next level Kunari Kun religion stuff. Like, it's like not my place. Like, I said I would deliver him, and I've delivered him. So yeah, but I know what you mean. It was like you come to care for this character, even though he's only in there for like, you know, one mission.
Yeah, it's not that long.
Yeah.
But it also really made me hate Patrice. So
Patrice is such a fucking bastard.
Oh, she is.
I hate that.
She's the
bitch.
real villain, isn't she, of Dragon Age 2?
I would think so.
A little
Damn,
bit. Yeah.
which one of you guys is gonna make the meme?
I already made one for Dragon Age 2 this week, so...
I think I saw it. Yeah, the fucking Anders one.
I'll have to find a picture of Patrice. I'll do it.
I will retweet it into oblivion. Man, I hate her. Like, there's just no, like... I thought, or maybe I've just misunderstood her on my first playthrough. My second playthrough, I was like, no, she's just a massive bitch.
Yeah, like,
when do I get to kill you?
there, like, is no redemption for her.
Yeah, even Meredith is kind of like, oh, well, I can kind of see your point of view.
Yeah, like, Meredith, she has, I mean, her own things going on, and then suddenly she's corrupted by the lyrium idol, and then, like, it just keeps getting worse and worse. But with Patrice, it's just like, oh yeah, here, let's sacrifice this person and this person and this person, and just on and on and on.
Oh boy, Meredith, Patrice, you crazy sons of bitches. Luna, what do you got for Dragon Age 2?
Okay, Dragon Age 2. So, much in a similar way to Asia, I didn't want to go through anything obvious. I feel like there's maybe one or two decisions that everyone thinks of when they think of Dragon Age 2. So, And actually, I found the big one quite an easy decision to make. So what I went for instead was actually a decision I did struggle with, and it was whether to kill Bertrand or save him.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Yeah, so lots of reasons why it's difficult and lots of reasons for and against, and that was one I really struggled with because it was like you are not equipped with enough at that point in the games, like not looking back or whatever. I don't think you are equipped with enough knowledge to know whether he is like beyond saving or whether he's like fully gone, whether killing him will end like any branch of blight he might have. So it was very much like, do I want to save him because, you know, it's a good thing to do, or do I want to kill him because it might be the better thing to do? And obviously you've got like Varric as well playing into that, like having to like kill his brother is pretty intense. Yeah, so that's the one I struggled with, and I probably like, yeah, I think I probably googled that one because I was just like, I don't want to get this wrong. I don't know.
Varric wants you to save him so much, like in the end, if I remember right. Like, so I always kind of go based off of what Varric wants because it's his brother, and so it should be his decision.
Yeah, for the longest time I was just like, okay, kill him. But,
yeah, I was the same because, especially because like after he literally locks you in the deep roads, like this guy, like I don't. I was like, I do not care how blighted or crazy you are. Like, before you had that idol, you were a dick.
Yeah, like, he really was. But Varric is so distraught about it that I'm like,
So listen here, Barton. I've officially taken your brother underneath my wing. He is my brother now.
Yeah.
So you can go fuck yourself, and then I stab him in the throat. But and then, you know, depending on my world state, I'll swap it up. It doesn't really matter to me personally, but I do think that it's a really good choice though that they put in there. And it used to be tough for me, but it's no longer tough for me, only because I've done it so many times. But yeah, I thought that was actually that was a good one, Luna. Would not have thought about choosing that one. Definitely would not have thought about that. All right, Nimble, what you got for DA2, my dude?
I feel like I went with an obvious one, maybe. So my first place, my first playthrough of Dragon Age 2. If you don't get enough approval with Isabella, she leaves and never comes back, and that happened to me. So the second time when you're becoming the champion and you fight the Arashock, I kind of had like this respect for the Arashock and did not want to fight him. At the same time, I liked Isabella, even if she did do a stupid thing. So like, I was distraught about what I wanted to do. And obviously I went with the whole fighting the Arashock thing because like I didn't want Isabella to die. But
sorry, go
ahead. No, I was done.
Okay. Did you 1v1 the Arashock, or did you do the team fight? I
1v1. I was all respectful and like, okay, we'll go with your traditions.
Was that the only one who had a fucking rough time fighting him?
No. I ran around like a chicken the entire time until like my mana went up, and then would be like, do, run,
beat the fuck out of me.
Yeah, as a mage hawk, it's not an easy fight. It's like every time it's summon your dog and be like, dog, help, help. I'm gonna run.
Exactly.
What's funny is that as a rogue hawk, he goes down like a bitch. Like he goes down in like 3 minutes. so like my second playthrough, I was a mage hawk. And I was like, this is gonna be a piece of cake. And then he starts like one shots you. I'm like, oh my god. I thought I better check what high level strat I need for this fight, and it's literally do a figure of 8 around the room.
Yeah,
exactly.
As a mage, you're pretty much flailing around like a chicken, like, no!
Yeah, I just got to the point where every time I replay the game, I just do the group fight, because I'm like, I don't even want to fucking deal with that anymore.
I've never done the group fight. How do you even do the group fight? Because maybe it's because I always have Fenris with me, and he's like, they're going to do a one-on-one. It's like, wait, what? We're going to do what now?
You just go, no, I'm just going to kill everybody. And then he's like, well, fuck you. And then you guys just do group fight. And there's a fuck ton of Kunari.
Is
There's-
that an
Yeah,
option?
no, I definitely
Yeah.
made sure I did like a respectable thing because I respected him so much, like
Yeah,
in the canon playthrough.
I did that the first like couple times, but then I got to the point where I was like, I fucking hate this boss fight because he beats my ass every time, so I'm just gonna fight everybody.
You just have to avoid him stabbing you through the stomach. That's the big thing.
Yeah, and he fucking pulls you on his sword like some Soul Calibur shit.
Oh, it's like a kebab, isn't it? Like,
Yes.
Yeah. Kebab.
Aeroshock is fucking tough. We're back to me again, and I still haven't thought of one for Inquisition yet. So, I'm gonna be a bitch, and I'm gonna say, hey, how about I'm gonna go back to Origins, and then maybe at the end I'll throw my Inquisition one if I have one. But because every Inquisition choice seems very perfect for me. Like this is my choice, and there's no other choice. But my second one for Origins is gonna be choosing the Keep or Amaranthine in Awakening as well, because both my choices are in Awakening. Because for the longest time I didn't know you could do both. So that was like a really fucking hard choice for me for a while, and I was like, oh, but the people, but my homies. And
Wait, you can do both.
yes,
This is a thing.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
you
it's
run the
bugged on
risk
console,
of
I
getting
think.
both of them destroyed if you do
Oh,
that.
okay. I was like, how did I not know this?
yeah, there's also a really weird bug on console, or I don't know if it's just PS3 or whatever. But there's a lot of bugs with Awakening, man. There's a lot where like some people will just randomly die and be dead forever, and you're like, how the fuck did this even happen? Or like they'll be perfectly fine, but in the end credits thing, it's like they died during the fighting, and you're like, what is this? The Awakening is super bugged.
Yeah, there's a reason why I think I've only played it 3 times.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't tell you how many times I played it, but I definitely stopped playing it over time. Even though I enjoy the storyline, the ending of that thing is so fucked. It's like, it's so glitchy.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Yeah, but that whole choice is always super rough for me. I never know which one I want to do, but I got to the point where I'm just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna save them both because I didn't know that was a thing. But yeah, and that's how I do it now, and that's it. I feel like no other choice is really that hard for me until you guys like mention it, and I'm like, oh yeah, you know what, that was pretty tough. But I stick to my gun so hard and choose the choices that every single time the same exact choices. So I don't know. This topic was hard for me, to be honest.
This was a very
I'm
hard.
interested to know, because the only other one I struggled with, because I just didn't know if it was the correct one, is who was your king in Orzammar?
So as a child, because again I played it when I was younger, I always chose Harrowmont. But then when I replayed the games when I was an adult, I always choose Balin now. I never not choose Balin. Balin's just a better king, and he's like better for Orzammar. And Harrowmont, although he was like super nice and shit, he holds on to those old values that really weakens the dwarves. So
Same thing.
yeah, I just like I said, it was never really a hard choice for me. It was just a choice between am I an informed adult or a child.
Go with the nice person who has the bad traditions, or go with the jerk who
like,
might actually make things better.
yeah, the whole time I was like, wow, this guy's super nice. Of course he's gonna be the king. He's my friend. And then I became an adult and I realized, you fucking suck. Like, thanks for helping me and all that. And I'm sorry I gotta stab you in the back here, but like, Balin's clearly the better for your, like, you guys are literally fucking dying out. The last city of your fucking, the last like big ass city you got. And like, you need some fucking help here. You guys gotta start branching out, doing some new things.
It's a difficult choice. Like it's weird. I switch back and forth between gameplays, and I do see the argument for Balin, but like didn't he kill like his brothers in order to get in line for the throne?
To
It's
be
just
fair,
so...
to be fair, yes, but also, he did it for good reasons.
Oh yeah. Ends justify the means. Yes.
Of
I
course.
mean, like I've said, I haven't. Those are the 2 playthroughs I haven't done, which were the 2 Dwarven origins. So like, I'm sure it's a completely different perspective on it.
Dude,
But
it's so good. The noble dwarf origin, although I never make it my canon because the elves are so perfect. Dude, the dwarf noble is fucking great because like there's so many different ways to end it. Although it all ends in the same way, there's so many different ways to get to that end. Like for example, you could straight up help Balin kill your brother, and then Balin's like, he did it. It was him.
oh,
Or you can straight up just be like, I don't trust either of them. I'm gonna kill both of them, and then Gorham's like, you probably shouldn't do that. And then you get caught and whatever. And there's like just a fuck ton of ways for it to end, and you can, I don't know. It's just so good. I love it. It's so underrated. I love it. So
okay. I think you might have finally convinced me to try that
yeah,
origin.
it's great. Also, cool fact for those who don't know, the dwarf noble character in Origins is the only character that can have canon for your playthrough if you do it, 2 children.
Oh right, because
Marty.
Marty.
You can have 2 kids. You can have Kieran and you can have your Idukan son. Which is cool as fuck to me because I'm like, yo, Kieran's got a fucking brother somewhere. That's lit. I really like that origin story, even though I never do it anymore. All right, now we're going to the Inquisition for Asia.
Inquisition. Okay.
Yeah.
So this one's a little bit difficult as well because there aren't. I mean, the only like super hard choice, which I think across the board is hard for everyone, except for if you're like coming into Inquisition without having played any of the previous games, would be the Fade choice. So I was trying to avoid that because I'm like, okay, that's the obvious one. Let's. Everyone had a hard time with that one. So
I did not.
Oh, you didn't?
Like I always had Stroud as my warden. So
oh, okay.
Yeah, pretty much until recently when I
like. So when it released, like I saw all the snapshots, I'm like, oh no, what's gonna happen to my guys? And then I'm like, Stroud. Okay, I'm fine.
Yeah, pretty much same. Until recently, because recently I started making it Logain as my warden. All before that, it was always Stroud. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Get him, kill him! Death now!
Mr. Handlebars stood no chance.
See, my first playthrough, like, that was when I did all 3 of them together. It was right after Inquisition came out, and I purposely avoided spoilers. So, and my first playthrough, I romanced Alistair and kept him a warden. So you get to that moment in the Fade, and you're just
absolute scandal.
But I had somehow found out about the Fade choice while I was playing Origins, and so I knew I would leave Hawk in the back of my mind because there was no way I would leave Alistair. And so when I played DA2 the first time, I purposely didn't get attached to my Hawk, and like I think that was awful because like DA2 is now my favorite game, and Hawk's probably one of my favorite characters.
Yeah. Hawk is great.
So I can't even imagine now, like, doing that choice. So, I do Logain and then be like, okay, go redeem yourself, bye.
I got a question for everybody involving a important choice in Dragon Age 2. Do you all play as female or male Hawk?
Female.
Female.
Nimble?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I've had this discussion with people in the past, and I just have such a hard time seeing Hawk outside of male Hawk because I think Nicholas Bolton is just so fucking perfect with that voice.
See, I love Joe Wyatt, and like I will have anything with her voice in it.
Just every time I hear Nicholas Bolton, I'm like, this man is a king.
I mean, that's why I love Reyes in Andromeda, but
Yes, yeah, he's great. You know, the first time I played that, I didn't even like. I like met him once and then never saw him again because I didn't even know that you could like talk to him ever again.
Oh no.
my heart.
Yeah, I was like, "Hey, nice to meet you, buddy," and then I was like, "That storyline went nowhere."
Oh,
Same thing with fucking the lady that's there that runs the place. I can't remember her name.
Did you just ignore that because she's voiced by Vivian's voice actress?
I did not know that, but now I know why. It was subconscious. No, I just got there and I was like, all right, time to just keep playing. And I didn't realize that those were side quests. I was like, I'm sure they'll come back up. And they never came back up.
Womp womp. All right, so actual Inquisition choice difficulty thing is who to put on the throne in Orlais.
Ooh, that is a good one.
This decision, I think, is vastly more difficult if you have not read The Masked Empire.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I hadn't read The Masked Empire, so I was like, who are these goons? Like, I don't know, who is this? I got the cocky elf. I've got this like guy who just wants to hurt people.
And Selene, who's just like, hey, can we all just get together and be peaceful, please? Like, it's not only is that it a hard choice, but it's also depending on if you actually do all of the things that you need to do in the Winter Palace.
Yeah.
Like, if you miss some of the holo statues, or you don't go into the wrong room and you waste your holo statues on the wrong room, hey, surprise, you have a limited choice of what you can do.
Okay, so this is a very small opinion, but I don't like Selene. Like,
gasp.
I don't like her at all. After reading The Masked Empire, I was just like, I kind of liked Gaspard a little bit because he was no nonsense, even though he was like very. I know if he ended up being the ruler, he would definitely probably end up going to war with Ferelden, so I did not choose him. But I did end up letting Selene get assassinated and then chose Briala to rule through Gaspard.
I love all the audible gasps.
I know. So I had that happen. That's my default. Like, I don't like Selene enough to let her live because of my first playthrough, I did not know about the fact you can get them all to get along. So otherwise I would have gone with that. But,
And that's the hardest one to get.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I really, really like Gaspard as a character, so I always want to put him on the throne, but I never do.
Yeah, exactly.
He's just a great character overall, and he's really interesting. And I'm like, if you weren't trying to, massacre the lands of previous games, then maybe I would put you on the throne. Oh God. Luna, what do you do?
So, what do I do? Pre-reading Masked Empire, I feel like I reconciled Briala and Selene and had them rule basically together.
Same.
And then the second playthrough, this is still before I'd read Masked Empire, I went for Gaspard because I was convinced that he would do us more favors in the upcoming war against Corypheus. And was a bit more like decisive militarily. And I actually killed Selene to achieve that end. Yeah, and then now that I've read The Masked Empire, I actually had the opposite thing. I actually liked Selene more, having read the book.
Yep.
Because I felt like Gaspard was just like, man, that guy was stirring the pot, was he not? He claims he's got the more like the rightful, he's got the more correct right to the throne or whatever, like rightful claim to the throne. which might be true, but that was like, I think she's been empress for like 20 years at this point.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, like, dude, go and find a hobby or something. Like, go and do something else. Like,
Holding a grudge this long.
yeah, I'm like, good grief. Like, is there nothing else to do in Orlais?
No, there's not.
The only
And it
other
sounds
thing.
like
Sorry.
it sounds like she's been like, no, it's fine. It sounds like she's been fairly successful at that for the last 20 years.
Mhm.
And I just don't like Briala. I just don't like her. There's something about her I don't like. I didn't like her in the books. I didn't like her in the game. I don't know why. I think it's because she's kind of like, I don't know, like she's a bit scheming. Like I just don't like people who I can't trust.
If there was a little bit more time with her, I feel like we might have liked her a little bit more.
Yeah.
I mean, you get more
like a double bluff.
You get more time with her in the book.
True,
So, like,
true.
if you really want to get to know her, read Masked Empire. Yeah, I used to reunite them as like thinking that was the happy ending, but then I read Masked Empire and it's like, oh, them being together might not necessarily be the best thing.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely it's a very tedious situation between the two of them.
Yeah. So now I mean, it's hard, and you gotta be in the Winter Palace for a while. But if I'm doing what I think is the quote unquote good outcome, I will get the three of them to work together.
Yeah.
Because I think Selene by herself is going to be overthrown by Gaspard. Like, there's just, it's going to happen. And so, since you can't have Briala in the shadows, because I think that relationship is bad for the two of them, the only way to do it is to have all three. But even that's going to be a power struggle. And, like, I think Solus says something about, like, it doesn't really matter as long as they're fine for now and they don't go to war.
No, long run, Solus. Stop it.
Because I think it's mentioned that Corypheus wants Selene assassinated because it will cause chaos. So I feel like the best way forward is for Selene to survive in some way or another. And like, I agree that her relationship with Briala and having that influence on the throne is kind of a bad idea. But at the same time, I feel like Briala was a lot of her strength as Empress. I think she was her eyes and ears, like definitely in sort of the Winter Palace and Orlais. So I feel like without Briala, Selene she's still probably a good Empress, but I don't think she's as good.
Yeah,
she's outplayed a lot.
In the Worst World State that I'm playing right now, what I ended up doing, because I couldn't let Selene get assassinated, like I could not allow it, and so I started to think about what actually would be quote unquote worst outcome, and it would be Selene by herself, no Briala, nothing, and leaving Gaspard alive, and just being like, well, you two kids have fun figuring it out a few years from now. Just be quiet for now. That's all I need.
Leaving it as you found it, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna push this over here.
Yeah.
Sorry, I killed your sister Gaspard or cousin, whatever she is.
Nice party.
I can remember. Yeah, I always leave Florian alive.
Oh, I always end up like assassinating her.
Luna, earlier, I think it was you, that said, you were like, oh, apparently there's nothing else to do in Orlais. And in my head, I wanted to make the joke so bad, but I didn't want to cut anybody off. I wanted to be like, well, apparently to Selene, you could just do the elves. And
oh!
Oh my god, you should have said it.
I started to, but then I started cutting Luna off. I was like, oh, sorry. So I stopped. Hey, you know what?
Sorry.
I'll find a way. I'll just put this part in. Fuck it. It's my podcast. I'll throw whatever I want.
You should just overlay. You should like overlay your voice making that joke and like mute me for a second, like you did make that joke.
I might be able to do that.
No one will tell. No one will tell.
Yeah, except nobody will laugh. It'll just be you guys continue with the conversation. And it's like, damn, that guy really stupid, huh?
Just
really,
like kind of like.
Really
the
unfunny.
Sound goes off. Yeah.
You can put in some canned laughter. Maybe we should all laugh now at the same time, like you just.
Oh boy, you're so funny.
There you go. Fixed.
I might be able to pull some wizardry there and just move this to that spot. Oh, fuck.
But yeah, I think I was cutting out when I was saying, like, I always 100% the Winter Palace, so I had never fought Florian until this Worst World state where I purposely did bad.
Yeah, I had never fought Florian either, and then I saw that you could, and I'm like, I'm seeing all these videos, how is everybody fighting Florian, and I'm just fucking killing her.
And I always wanted to do it because you get the judgment in a box.
Yes.
Which I'd seen videos, but I'd never done.
It's so funny. I love it.
Oh, like doesn't like the skull will do public service in theatre or something?
Yep.
And the table is and the box is end table for orphans.
Yeah.
Man, that's funny.
And Josephine's just like, please stop, Inquisitor. Okay, we know it's ridiculous.
Some of the judgments are just great. Like
Yeah, they
the
are.
goat and like
Chief Mogren or whatever.
The goat
there's
never.
a man throwing goats at the walls.
It never
Here's my-
fails to make me laugh ever.
Especially because of the cut where it's like, boom!
Yeah.
It is my custom to lather your holdings with goat's blood.
I'm trying to remember who it is, but one of the sit-in judgment characters that he judge, I think he was working for Corypheus, and I think one of the sentences is you like tie him to a post with a sign like I betrayed you, Corypheus, or something like that. And leave Corypheus to find him. Oh my god, it's so funny.
That sounds
Guys,
absolutely
like,
fucking
panicking.
great. Is it the Templar guy?
Oh, I feel like he might be involved in the Warden quest, but I'm trying to remember.
I don't know. That sounds fucking awesome, and I've never done that.
Are you talking about Samson? Because I don't think that's Samson's.
No,
I don't think
highly
it's
doubt that.
Samson.
Oh,
man, I
man.
don't know, but that's fucking great.
I'm like furiously googling it right now.
Yeah, go ahead. Listen, like I said, any flubs and shit, I hardcore edit any issue inside these. By the way, that last one, good God, that took me a couple days to edit. Not necessarily because it was so long, but because it was so long, I was doing it in like 20-minute chunks.
Okay, so it's Crassius Service. He's a Venatori overseer.
Ah.
How do you even get him?
Is he the guy in the Western Approach?
No.
Yeah.
What?
He's in the Western Approach.
Okay.
He
I did that
hires
for
raiders called the White Claws.
I did that, I think, for the first time in like my 2019 playthrough, like at the end of the year, like a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Or it was early this year. Either way, I very recently I did that for the first time.
Yeah.
Well,
You
AJ was
can,
shocked.
No, what's his name?
it is Crassius, I could just type it, can I not? Crassius.
Cremisius Aclassi.
I got it. Crassius.
I don't know why I caps locked that.
Service. Just screaming it.
Crassus!
People not on this channel right now are going to be so confused.
For real. He's like, what in the fuck?
What are they talking about?
Oh yeah, so it's not the guy that was having. Yeah, okay. It's not who I thought it was. I thought it was I can never remember the guy who's like heading the thing at the Western Approach. I'm like, no, that can't be one of the options. No.
Aramond.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can't remember. I don't remember how you get this guy.
Aramond.
Yeah, I just remember that you can like tie him to a post, like returning him to Corypheus. It's really funny.
I don't think I've ever gotten this judgment. I'm gonna have to try to get this.
Is
Oh
it
my god,
me?
do.
Or does Aramon look like he has a coat of slime on his body?
Ah.
Aramon looks so slimy.
He just like swaz on grease before he comes to me.
Hello. No touching.
Oh god. He just
I
looks
can't
so
even-
gross.
He just went down like such a little punk. Like I just like he's imbued with this power from Gryphius.
real.
It's like Clarel just like beats him in one like one electric ball.
And it's like, where?
If this was like Mass Effect or something, he's the type of character that you'd walk up to and just punch in the face.
Yep.
In the words of Cole, Aramon is an asshole.
Oh fuck.
Oh man, I love that kid.
Yeah, he's great. Oh god, I love Cole.
Me too. Oh man, I'm so
Yeah.
sad because I don't think he's going to be in 4. And I love him so
I
much.
would love that.
Even a cameo would just be so good,
Yes.
but I don't think they'll do it.
I hope he is.
Asunder was such an amazing book.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
god. Anyway,
I just
we
wish
should-
I had read it before.
Funny
my
enough,
playthrough.
Okay,
Yeah.
so until Inquisition, I did not like Cole because of Asunder. Like, I
Really?
didn't-
Oh my
Really?
god.
No. I love the writing. I
yeah,
absolutely
yeah.
love
You
his
just didn't
writing
like
as a character, but like, I just didn't like the character
Yeah,
specifically.
that's totally fine.
Yeah, like,
Dude, I went on a camping trip and I took Asunder with me, and I was like, on this camping trip, I'm gonna fucking read this entire book, and I did. And after I
Yep.
finished it, I was like, I need for this game to come out now. I was losing my mind. I was like, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. I need to fucking play this game. I think, I don't even know. It was just, I don't know, just fucking set me off. I was like, this is amazing, and I need everything.
I would love if we could get one of Reese, Adrian, or Evangeline in a game.
God, yeah.
oh yes, please.
It would be so good. Maybe not Adrian. I don't know. She's kind of moody nowadays. But I really like
definitely wouldn't-
Evangeline, like ex-Templar. Like she fills in that role that like Cullen has previously done.
Should be
I think
an
it would
be-
Aveline.
I think it would be
reasonable?
Oh, yeah.
fitting to have it be Reese because of Win,
Yes.
and like,
like
I would
Reese.
just like that connection. Like,
Reese is so...
And at that point, he's the head of the Free Mages, right? At that point,
Yeah.
of the
yeah.
Neanderthals.
I thought Fiona would. No.
I
Okay,
think
yeah,
she's
you're
the head
right.
of the Ferelden Free Mages, and I think it's Neanderthals he's in. I think it's been a while since I read it.
I was
But
gonna
he's
say I
like-
read this a while ago.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
Right before Inquisition came out was when I heard it.
Yep, same.
Yeah, I feel like he's the head of something. Because it's weird that he's actually they're only mentioned in like war table missions and
Mhm.
not in the larger like Mage Templar conflict. I found that a little strange. Because he would be a fairly big deal in that conflict, which he was kind of there for the start of.
Mhm.
But no, he would like that would be such a good companion in Dragon Age 4.
Really would.
Yeah, it would. Oh boy, I am feeling super hype right now, despite my voice being very tired. I am so every time I talk about Asunder, I'm like this book. I fucking love that book. It's so good.
Mhm. Yeah, it was the first Dragon Age book I read actually, and I read them all this lockdown.
Nice.
Like I read like 5 of them. I haven't touched the comics yet. Like 5 of them, no, 6 of them in 2 weeks. Like I could not put them down. It was bad, but yeah, Sunder I did in like 2 days. I couldn't put it down.
I have to type this. I am typing in all caps. It's all right. We didn't really spoil anything, so that's good.
Much. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's good. We didn't.
Literally right when I was about to drop the biggest spoiler,
Yeah,
and I'm
we
like,
didn't-
okay, yeah, we're fine.
We didn't shoot out. I also.
Okay.
We didn't shoot out any plot points, so that's good.
No.
I was like, oh, they're gonna talk about the book. I'm gonna go get some coffee
All right.
and avoid being like, please don't.
read it as soon as you can, and then talk to us about it. We can make a whole
seriously.
episode out of it or something.
Oh,
It is-
yeah.
please
It is
do.
next on my TBR list.
I
I'm
will
currently
straight up-
reading something else, but
Yeah, I'll straight up reread it, and I'll read.
Yeah, so would I.
I mean-
Definitely.
I've thrown the idea around of doing like a book club of all the Dragon Age.
We could do that on here for sure, man. I don't care. I'm down for it.
That would be fun.
Yeah. Speaking of that, though, we should probably move on to Luna's Inquisition. All right.
Did we
Just like a big break.
Yeah. What,
It's
Luna?
fine.
did we do Asia's decision? Because she said she wasn't going to cover.
Oh,
the
oh
fate.
Oh, wait,
yeah,
no, we didn't?
yeah. I don't think I ever said. So I get all
Oh.
three of them to work together now.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
We got on that tangent, but yeah. So since I 100% Winter Palace, I'm like, okay. So all three of them are going to work together. Don't open that closet to get the locket. Just focus on getting dirt on everyone because they're all terrible. They've all done terrible things.
Yeah, they're all
That is
pretty
a great
shitty.
reason.
Right. Like, they all have good justification, but they've all done terrible things. I think the worst is Selene's naked guy in her room, which makes me laugh every single
Yeah.
time.
I feel like they all bring something good to the table, though. Like Gaspard
Mhm.
brings his. They
Oh,
kind of, in fact, they kind of mirror the advisors in that way. Because you've got like Gaspard bringing his military stuff, you've got Briala and her secrets, and you've got Celine and her connections in Orlais, and they basically end up mirroring your Inquisition advisors in that way,
Yeah,
which is kind of interesting. I hadn't thought of it that way.
me neither.
So you'd think like 3 heads would be better than 1, but
Mhm.
mm,
I'm still worried that they're all going to try to kill each other eventually because of the
Probably find a
game,
way.
but
yeah.
All right. Well, now, Luna.
Okay, so in a similar vein, trying to avoid the obvious ones, and I actually ended up come up with 2 that I ended up researching at length before making the decisions, and I didn't know which one to choose, so I'm kind of cheating by choosing 2. The first one is whether to drink from the well of sorrows, and the second one is whether to disband the Inquisition.
Those are both good ones.
So the first one, drinking from the well, I just because I hadn't played Origins on my first playthrough,
Mhm.
so I had this Morrigan character like, oh, you must let me drink from the well. Only I can drink from the well. Let me drink from the well. And I was like, this is fishy. Like, like I do not trust you. What are you planning? Yeah, but I ended up letting her drink, but.
Hmm.
Yeah, I did not trust her at all. She was just too keen.
Yeah.
Disbanding the Inquisition, I really struggled with. And I think what's more annoying is that currently there are no repercussions for disbanding or not. I imagine there will be in
there-
4.
we're going to find out.
Yeah, there should be in 4, but we'll see. It might be one of those non-decision decisions.
God, I hope not, 'cause
Oh
it took me long
no!
enough to
Please
decide.
no!
I
think
imagine there'll be some kind of crazy, like betrayal or some shit like that if you don't.
It
I don't know.
all, for me on that, because that is a tough choice, I agree. It all depends on who's actually your divine, and if it's Liliana, if she's hardened or not. There's so many
Yeah.
factors that it's like, I would trust Cassandra with the Inquisition. Would I trust a hardened Liliana? Oh, hell no.
No.
Would I trust Vivian with an Inquisition? Nope. So,
I think I would trust Liliana if she wasn't hardened.
Yes, that's
Like-
what I do recently.
That's actually what I do in my canon playthrough. If she isn't hardened, then I do make her divine.
Hmm.
Like,
I think what I did, I think I was really anti-Solus. So that his whole spiel at the end of Trespasser, and he's like, "Oh, my spies tripped over their spies, and your Inquisition is corrupt from the inside." And I was like, "Oh man, this guy's an asshole, but like he's correct."
But he's right. He's got a point.
Yeah, I came away from that conversation like you're still being a smart ass all the time.
Damn that egg.
I like for once would you be wrong about something. So yeah, I had every intention to not disband, and then I thought more about what he was saying, and I was like, God damn, he's right. Like we are becoming corrupted AF. So yeah, I disbanded. I think it was the sad disbanded. I can't remember. I don't think it matters that much. Because I was sad because it felt like the end of my Inquisitor's story, even though it's not quite. Because you see it formed at the beginning of base game. You have your little sing-song in the snow, and you've come all this way. You're in Skyhold. Like you really do build this place, like this organization from the ground up. So then to be the one to tear it down. Yeah, that stung, but I disbanded just because what he was saying was like, oh, you've got a point.
Yeah, I got two things to add to that real quick. First one, is our Inquisitor allowed to stay in Skyhold?
I don't think either way.
So.
I don't see the point in like okay, you did all that, but can I just live there now? If it was me, I'd be like, I'll keep this as a house. This is a pretty dope house.
I mean, we've still got construction to do, you know?
Yeah. I mean, hey, you can get most of it done.
Things are still falling apart, but hey.
It's not that bad. You got a kick-ass bedroom.
You know?
Because of its location, if you disband, I don't think whoever is the head of Orlais and whoever is the head of Ferelden is going to be like, yeah, it's fine. We'll have a giant figurehead stay in the place where there's a large castle and they can accrue an army. Yeah, it's fine. I don't see that happening. Even if Alistair's not hardened and is like, yeah, sure. I don't see Orlais being cool with it.
I hate everybody.
Especially their reactions when during Trespassa, they were like, you guys need to stop. No.
I can't even tell you how much I want to bitch slap Tegan all throughout Trespasser.
No.
What is your problem, you fucking cock?
He's just mad he didn't hook up with the warden back in Origins.
He's mad because he's just alone and no one loves him now.
It's just like you do so much for all these different areas, and then suddenly everyone's just like, grr.
Yeah.
I did kind of like when Tegan was saying I think it's Tegan that said you've got this massive military force like on the border of both Orlais and Ferelden, and you haven't declared what your intentions are to do with it. I was like, yeah, that's probably fair enough because like we're pretty powerful and we're not really aligned with anyone.
Right.
So it is kind of this like neutral chaotic organization that could really just do anything they wanted. So I did sympathize with him when he said that, even though he's a douchebag.
I totally agree. I don't disagree in the slightest, but also, like you said, he's a douchebag. Also, if it was me, I'd be like, okay, let me declare a side then. Fucking, I'll declare a side. Let me.
Yeah, but if you do that, then it's going to cause a war, no matter whose side you choose. Because the other side's going to be mad.
I'm going off to clap some cheeks then. Who wants to get their ass beat?
It's funny because I liked Tegan so much in Origins. I was just like, oh, he's so great. And then, like, bam.
I remember the first time playing Trespasser, Josephine, oh, look, there's Earl Tegan. I was like, is it? It doesn't look like him at all.
Why does Earl Tegan look like he's been...
Poor Tegan.
Why does it look like he's been smoking meth?
Years have been unkind. They have been unkind.
Really bad. Like,
wasn't he kind of a hottie in Origins? And
whole lot of people were simping for Tegan back in the day.
I mean, you can flirt with him as a female warden, and he's like, hey,
and he's all into it, and he's just like, in another life.
Holy shit, if that's what happens to Tegan in 2 games, what is Cullen going to look like in Dragon Age 5?
Oh,
no.
He's gonna look like a corpse, because he's probably dead.
Oh, God.
From fucking, what's her name?
From fucking God. Is right.
They got plenty of time now, so
Oh god, I was gonna say fucking Harding, but I almost said Charter. So either way,
Fucking is canon. That's
that's very true. It is canon.
Oh no!
Just on the Skyhold thing, actually, isn't Intermittent Nights we go to Skyhold, don't we?
Yep.
And I'm thinking it's probably canon that whether you disband or not, no one's in Skyhold. I think you all leave.
Yeah. It's because location. I'm telling you, like both countries would be like, you need to go.
I
It's so
still
sad.
haven't read to Winter Nights. I need to really badly. Like,
Okay,
Yeah,
so,
I need to finish it.
so we're gonna have to do the book club basically, and the
Yeah,
first book
for
is
sure.
gonna have to be To Winter Nights because so many people who have come on the podcast is like, I haven't finished it yet. I'm like, ah.
I haven't even started. I just don't like. I haven't had the chance to get it yet. I'm just like,
Yeah,
no.
I read
please.
the first. I read the first part, the first story out of like the however many stories there are, and I was like, "Dang, this is really good." And then I was like, "I'm just gonna do another playthrough of Inquisition now." And I never went back.
I feel like that happens like a lot. You get
Yeah.
a reference to one of the games, and you're like, okay, sorry, I'll come back to you, other video game. This is my true love.
Reminds me of a joke from fucking Aziz Ansari, who's like, "Oh, I don't know anything about Joe Pesci," and then he just looks up. What if I learned everything about Joe Pesci? And that's me with Dragon Age. I'm like, "Oh, I'll read this book. What if I did everything in the fucking world about these books?"
Yeah.
That was me with Stolen Throne. I was like, oh, I'm making the game my warden. Let's go.
Exactly.
Let's do this game over again.
That was me within like 3 months of finishing Inquisition. I think I played both other games, read every single book except for the comics, started a Twitter, started a Twitch, a YouTube, and Instagram. I was like, I need to inject Dragon Age into my eyeballs every day.
Put it in my bloodstream. Like that, like Ace Ventura. It's in the bone.
Literally how I feel about the whole thing. On the drinking from the well, what did everyone do?
Oh, I always drink from the well. Almost always.
It depends on my playthrough. I have like 3 states, but the canon one I have, I definitely don't. Morgan can deal with that. Like, I'm like, no.
The only time I don't do it is if I'm a human. So if I'm an elf, which I'm 99% of the time an elf,
Yeah.
I'm like, give me that well. I want it.
Yeah,
And
definitely. Like, if
I'll
you're an
drink-
elf, it's kind of like your heritage, sort
Yeah,
of.
I'll
And
drink the
so,
whole ass well. Yeah, I love me some well. That's some good shit.
I always love Morgan's reaction. She's like, oh, hey, on the other hand, I'm kind of glad you drink from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think just for avoiding fighting all the ancient elves and Trespasser, just for avoiding all of that, I drink.
Exactly. That is my reason as well. As soon as the first time I played Trespasser, I was in the middle of another playthrough in Inquisition, and when we got to the fight, those fights with the ancient elves, I'm like, this is insane because those are really hard fights.
Yeah.
If you drink from the well, you don't have to fight them. So in the Inquisition playthrough I was currently working on, I was like, you drink from that well. I will drink from the well always now.
Because you can get there and either they and the Kunari attack you at the same time, or they're helping you fight Kunari. And I was like, this is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
But if that's reason enough, and you get to tame a dragon, which is awesome.
Yeah, I didn't even.
I
Again,
wish that had been developed more.
I think because I always drink from the well. I remember the one time that I didn't. I was like, wait a second, you don't tame the dragon?
Mm-hmm. You get an
Morgan.
extra steam with Mythal.
Morgan is the dragon.
Ride the hashtag ride the dragon.
Oh, no.
Oh god. I always wondered actually, like, with what happens at the end of the base game of Inquisition with Mythal, does that mean that any link between whoever drank and Mythal is broken?
Figure I
assumed.
thought.
Oh god, sorry, I'm believing first.
Sorry, I kind of figured that Solus now has that control.
That's what I was
Oh
also
my
going to say.
God.
I assume it just transfers to Solus, which is why in my head, which is why the Inquisitor can't go after him in DA4, because he can just use that, wiggle his fingers and control you now.
Yeah.
Oh god, I don't like that.
So it's
I don't
either
like that at all.
it's either that or like Mythal is messing with that Illuvian right as Solus comes in, and so there has to be a reason why they were showing that. And I think
like she was sending a piece of herself. Or something.
Exactly, just like she did at the beginning of DA2. Like, so I actually don't think Mythal is dead.
This woman needs to stop sending pieces of herself and just fucking die.
No, I literally love her so much.
Yeah, I think what Solus took was the old god, not Mythal.
Oh,
Very
that's not
possible.
bad.
So, like, he might think it is, but
I just want to say that every podcast we find a way to make sure we mention how much we want to just slap Solus around a little bit. I don't know if you saw in the title for the second one, I put, yes, we talk about beating Solus some more, or something like that.
I mean, it's hard not to talk about, like, Inquisition and not at least bring it up.
Just like, talk about, just like, yo, you guys want to talk about fucking the Masked Empire? By the way, Solus, I smacked the fuck out of him.
I mean, technically, like, there's a theory that he's in the Masked Empire. It's just...
I haven't read the book, but I've heard that, and
Oh my god, yes. Read the book.
No, I thought that was. Never mind. Sorry, I'm not spoiling.
No, it's fine. I've read the spoilers ages ago. I don't remember most of them, but I do remember the fact that everybody thinks that one guy is Solus.
Yeah,
I thought that
like Nimble. Read the last page.
It's his running theory.
No, yeah, the last page. I thought that was Corypheus. He was talking about like the Elder One and.
Yeah, I know a lot of people on YouTube who are like, that's definitely Solus.
I mean, at first I thought it
read.
was... I can't remember who I thought it was. I thought it was, I thought he was talking to Briala. I don't know why.
All I know is that I watched a bunch of videos on the spoilers and stuff, like when they came out and all that. And there wasn't a single person I heard say anything, but this guy is definitely Solus.
I'm gonna have to reread it then, because I could have sworn it was Corypheus.
Yeah, I haven't even read it yet, and I own it. I just have to read it.
Yeah.
And every time I look anything up about it, everybody's always like, "Yeah, that's definitely Solus, right?" And I'm like,
I think the feeling was that Felasan recognized and perhaps was even friends with whoever he's speaking to.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the feeling was that it wouldn't be like Corypheus or a bad guy, which is why I thought it was Briala, because like that's the closest friend that we know of that he has. So there is a popular theory that it's actually Solus he's speaking to, rather than
Yeah, plus at the end of Trespasser, he has all the Illuvians. So Briala was trying to collect them. So he either did something to Briala to get them, or is working with Briala, or that is him.
Okay.
Actually, I loved Felasan, and I know he's supposed to be dead and or tranquil, but I would love for him to be in DA4. I thought he was so great.
It would be cool if he came back as Tranquil, because we need a Tranquil companion. That's all I want.
Oh, I never actually thought about having a Tranquil companion. That'd be interesting.
Because
it'd be cool if we could like seek out Cassandra, who supposedly in many playthroughs will have the knowledge of how to reverse tranquility.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If we can find him, recruit him initially as Tranquil, and then his personal quest is to seek out Cassandra Pentagast, who can make him untranquil.
Mm-hmm.
That would be
awesome.
So good. Yeah,
because then you would also have the cameo from the last game, and then like because I just love Cassandra in general, but like
yeah.
I mean, I think Cassandra would be coming back. Whether like I think of all the people, we're gonna see Cass again.
Mm-hmm.
I think of all the people, we'll definitely see Dorian though.
Oh well, yeah.
I think Dorian's a good shout.
Dorian, Cass, and then I think Josephine will come back.
I think Josephine as well. just because she's in Antiva and we should be going to Devinter and like it's close by. Like that's the only reason.
And then I think there's a good chance of Fenris showing up too.
Yes.
Hopefully.
I have returned.
Hello.
Hello.
It's like, yeah, that would be so cool.
My girlfriend needed to call me for a ride to work later. So.
Aww.
Yeah.
All three just awes.
Aww.
It's okay, 'cause she's also mad at me again, so it's fine.
Gosh,
Oh no!
did you tell her that you're not going to marry her again?
That's not. Oh, this.
That's a thing.
Wait, were Luna and Nimble? I know Nimble wasn't there for that. Luna, you weren't there for
Nope.
that, right? Who was the other? Alright, well, more tangent.
Context, please.
Yeah. Oh, God. Hey, I'm going to keep this in because this is good shit. My girlfriend was. She. Oh, God. I can't even remember the whole thing. But basically, she was like, hey. She just like called me up randomly and was like, hey, when are you going to marry me? And I went, my dude, I'm fucking 22. We are not getting married. I don't want to marry you right now. And she got really.
Oh my god.
She got really, really upset at that.
Oh
And
no.
I think there was more, but I can't remember the whole thing.
It was while we were recording she called.
Yeah,
Oh.
just randomly call. When are we getting married? I'm like, my dude, I'm 20 fucking 2. I'm not ready for that. I don't have any stability. This woman calls me. She's my girlfriend, so she calls me all the time. But she calls me, and she's like, she'll just randomly call me one day and just be like, she'll call me like 2 hours from now and be like, hey, when are we having babies? I'm like, guy, you better fucking stop. I cannot support a child yet. I'm a fucking child
for the
still.
fact that you call your girlfriend dude and guy.
Luna, I am from Boston.
I am living because when I call my boyfriend dude, he's like, "Yeah, don't call me that."
I'll literally call her right now and put her on speakerphone. And I'll fucking do that.
I
Or
love
maybe
it.
I'll wait for the recording to finish. We'll see. Nimble, it's your turn for the Inquisition, right? All right. Well,
So we can get through this.
okay. We'll let you do your last Inquisition. We'll do a little whatever. We'll say bye to everybody, and then maybe I'll I'll record this as like a fun little side thing of me calling my girlfriend and calling her dude and guy and see what happens.
Oh god.
Okay.
Okay. So originally I actually had the same thing Aja had Orlais, but so the other thing that was really difficult for me was choosing when you're doing the judgment Lexius's fate. So I don't like to make anybody tranquil, but I also kind of like understand where he's coming from, the fact that he was trying to save his son the entire time. And so although I don't justify it by any means, because it's like, you kind of sent Dorian and her, and you wanted to, or not her, the Inquisitor out into existence and everything, and that's just awful. But at the same time, like it kind of shows like the writing, how well he is written, because of the fact that like it so much that you would do to save your child. And so I end up not executing him, but like having him become a researcher.
I like that choice, to be honest. I do it like every time now.
So like
I think most judgments where you end up with an agent and or more war table missions, I generally go for.
Same.
So
Oh, go ahead, Aja.
I agree, but there is one time when I will totally 100% make them a tranquil,
Yeah.
and that is for the Vistus, or however you say his name, Aramond. Like Aramond, I'm like,
yeah,
I will make you.
You talking about Aramond, or are you talking about Crassius?
No, I'm not talking about Crassus.
I know. I'm just fucking.
Crosshair service! No, I'm talking about Aramon. However, it all depends on if my Inquisitor has had the conversation with Cassandra yet that you could cure tranquility. Because if that conversation has already happened, it's a little weird to be like, hey, Aramon, I'm going to make you tranquil. Oh, by the way, we can cure it.
But we just won't.
Yeah, you just don't. Fuck you, Aramon, you fucking bastard.
I think I might have executed him just because of the heavy disapprovals you get from nearly everyone if you make him tranquil, which I don't really understand, but I just execute him because I always feel like as well, like the problem with tranquility is that if at that point you know it can be reversed, it's like no longer this permanent solution because
yeah,
you know,
Right.
he could become untranquil.
It's kind of like a sentence for a while or something like
Right.
that. You get like a 5-year tranquiling, and then you come back to society as a human being.
Yeah, and I think
guess
he would
it's a
come
little
back.
bit better than being permanent, but
Yeah, I mean it's still fucked.
yeah, it's really bad.
But he comes
I
back
think
even madder.
Yeah, I was about to say he'd come back even more pissed off.
Okay, now it's my vengeance. Destroy the world time.
Yeah, he'll find another old god. Don't worry.
Oh boy.
Like, I don't always do it, but if there's one that I would consider, it would be him. Let me put it that way.
Alright.
It's just like such a really bad, harsh thing to do.
Yeah, I didn't actually understand what it was when I first played the game, so I think I made most mages tranquil.
Oh no!
I was like, that's a happy solution. Like they get to live, but not harm anyone.
I'm over here just laughing in evil laughter, like, ha 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 ha! Fucking kill him.
Why has everyone disapproved of this? This is a great solution.
Oh god!
And I read, I think it was a Sunder that gives you a whole bunch of stuff on tranquility, and I was like, oh god, I'm a monster.
Or just that side quest with Anders and his friend, like where he's talking about it's as if everything has gone dull. It's like, oh, tranquility's
like, just kill me, just kill me.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I feel like you should be able to make Anders tranquil and then kill him. That's how much I hate him.
That's how much you don't like him. Well, okay. So speaking of which, no one brought it up, so we really should talk about what to do with Anders.
Kill.
I forgot. Yeah, I watched the podcast and I was so sad because like I'm one of the ones that likes Anders.
Kill.
I was like, no. And it's not even like, okay, so when I was younger, when I first started playing Dragon Age and I played Dragon Age 2, I was like, oh, it's so cute, they're like in love, and I'm like, and then later, like now, I'm like, oh my god, this is like an obsessive and unhealthy relationship. Like I will not romance him again, like at all. But at the same time, I love the fact that like in Awakening, he was like my favorite character, obviously, but he wanted to just help Justice, and then it like bites him in the ass so harshly that like I'm just like, oh my god, I feel so bad for you. Although, yes, Ethan, he does whine a lot.
Terrorist.
I mean, like we've kind of touched on this. Like killing him is what he wants, so it's kind of hard for me to do that.
But let's be real. And he's like, kill me, I'll be a martyr. But does he really become a martyr?
He does, though.
I don't think you never hear of his name ever again, except for like once in Inquisition. Nobody's like, this is for Anders, you son of a bitch. They're just like, yep, we're fucking free now. Nobody gives a fuck about him because he was like, hey, you know, my spare time when I'm not whining, I like to bomb churches.
I don't know. I just find it really interesting, like, because if you do the friendship with him, he says it's himself. And then when you do the rivalry with him, he says Justice is taking over.
Justice, yeah.
Like, I don't know which one it is, but
he's a lying bastard. It's him and him alone, the son of a bitch.
But don't you think it's more punishment to make him come with you and make things right?
It would be more punishment if I killed him faster. And then
No changing his mind.
nope,
all
never. I want his head on my plaque.
See, I think making him live and then having to deal with the consequences, and especially coming back to the gallows and be like, "Hey, you get to clean all this up."
I definitely do that. And then I have my Hawk break up with him. I'm like, nope, you guys are done. Nope, betrayal.
So I will change my mind if in Dragon Age 4 he shows up and we can see the consequences. But if he never shows up again, then it's just going to be death for me every time.
I doubt he will show up.
That's the thing.
That so many people probably did kill him.
If we get in DA4 and I see him on the streets begging for some fucking money or something, and he's just depressed and his life is ruined, then maybe I'll let him live one time just to see that so I can laugh at him. But
just imagine him going to Deventer and succeeding, just in spite of you.
And then I fucking I just find a way to metaphysically enter the game and choke him with my bare hands. You son of a bitch!
I mean, any character that could have died along the way is probably not going to show up. They've kind of made that clear.
Yeah.
So
No. Okay, Liliana.
Except for Liliana, and that was because
she's a magic fate spirit thing.
Oops. And
there's a thing there. One exception.
But she's made out of lyrium, and it's not actually her.
Oh boy! All right.
They can't do that for everything, though.
No. One shot too many.
Which is why I'm afraid Fenris won't show up again, because he can possibly die. So.
Well, pretty much all the characters in Dragon Age 2 can die.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't he
Really?
appear
Fenris
in
can
one of the
die?
comics, though?
Yeah, if you don't have enough approval or rivalry with him, then he will side with the Templars. If
Yeah.
Yep, and then you gotta fight him.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
And then it's
Does
the
he
same
not
with
appear in the
Anders.
comics afterwards? For some reason, I thought Fenris was in the comics.
He is. He's in
He
the
is.
Yeah, the new one.
They take place after DA2?
Yes.
Yeah.
After Inquisition,
They have-
actually.
Oh, okay.
So basically,
That's
the
their
books kind
canon,
of have their
yeah.
own canon.
Yeah, so they'll use characters from the main story.
Could come back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a possibility for sure. They
Because
definitely.
I'm pretty. I'm not sure, but I think he is going to end up coming back based on the new comic books and everything else.
It's hard to tell, because in the previous comics, Alistair's king, that's kind of how
True.
they have made their canon, but it's not necessarily actual canon, so...
It's my canon.
Mine too.
Mine. I have the human woman noble married to Alistair, and they're all in love, and I'm like, yay!
I understand. My first playthrough, when I found out at the end, playing as a mage, that I couldn't marry Alistair, I was like, well, I guess I'm playing this again.
I know. It was so messed up. If your first playthrough is something else, and then suddenly you're like, bam, relationship over, unless you want to be a... What is the word? Not a concubine. That's terrible.
I was gonna say concubine, actually. That's a consort.
Consort.
Yeah. Why did I want to say... Yeah, I went with concubine, too.
If you're an elf, I think if you're an elf, isn't it a concubine? I know if you're a male and you go with an aura, you're the consort. I thought if you were an elf, you can't be the queen or whatever, so you become his fucking concubine or something like that.
Concubine or mistress or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
And
consort's male.
it's only if he's hardened. He will not do a relationship with you if he's softened.
I didn't even know that.
Again, that hardened choice, that's the hardest thing, I'm telling you.
There's definitely consequences if you don't, and there's consequences if you do.
Yep.
True.
Yeah.
Very true. Well, I think we've gone through just about everything. I was gonna go back and talk about from my Inquisition thing, since I skipped it. I was gonna talk about the what's it called? The divine choice, but then we all kind of said our divine choices at one point.
Vivian.
Oh no!
It's not. It's because she's doing the worst state right now, and she's scum.
I mean, Vivian's also divine in my like canon quote Iron Bull romance.
Really?
It was completely by accident, but I was like, yeah, I kind of get this.
Sean!
No,
Sean!
hate it.
It sets the stage well for Dragon Age 4.
Gonna set the stage well for when I smack Vivian into oblivion. Oh boy. Okay. Well, on that note, I think it's time to head out. So, thank you. Thanks all three of you for coming by and talking with me. Thanks everybody for stopping by and watching. I appreciate it. Of course,
Yes,
I'm glad to have you
so
guys.
much.
I always love having you. And we will see everybody next time. Bye.
Gracias, Samus!